yesterday,
Hmm.
the state of Israel carried out what they referred to as a preemptive strike
Hmm.
on Iran in the capital of Tehran. They
Hmm.
attacked several residential buildings where they were going after military targets, where they were going after scientists. There are unconfirmed reports right now by a news site, Drop Site News, who has been very credible covering everything happening in the Middle East over the last several months, over a year now, that around 400 people were killed as Israel struck these people at night while they were sleeping. A lot of people were caught in the blast themselves. I mean, there's videos coming out. There's images now of all these like destroyed apartment buildings in residential neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Um, Israel, claims that some countries like Iran, or they talk about this with Lebanon as well, or with in Gaza, that
Hmm.
these people hide behind human shields, and so like they have to strike these people to get to the targets that they're going after. I want to address that point really quickly before we give more of the details here. The IDF actually
Yeah.
just in 2021, this was reported by the New York Times, by the way, they put their bunker underneath an apartment building in Tel Aviv, so that if anyone ever tried to attack it, they could claim that you were attacking a civilian population, not actually their military installation, which they purposely put underneath a civilian apartment building. So the level of maliciousness here is kind of astounding to me.
Hmm.
Um, Iran responded today by
Yeah.
firing three waves of missile attacks into Tel Aviv, into Jerusalem, and I think to another city in Israel. Um, it seems as though Donald Trump was very involved in this attack, and he knew about it ahead of time. We saw that U.S. military personnel were leaving or Iraq, and I believe it's Syria as well, just yesterday. So they actually knew this attack was coming. Trump tweeted as much, or truthed as much, whatever the hell we want to call it, talking about like how he was alluding to the fact that he knew this was going to happen. That he was saying that another attack would also be on the backs of this if that Iran didn't agree to whatever deal that they had offered to them. So Iran seems to have no intention of agreeing to whatever deal was going to be on the table now. And now the question is lingering in the air of what is going to transpire here next.
Yeah.
Because America, the United States, our government, whether it's Donald Trump or our previous president, Joe Biden, has always said that we have this ironclad defense of Israel. And so, which gives Israel blanket coverage to do whatever they want to. They can attack another country, wait for that country to retaliate, play the victim, and then say, United States, you said you would always save us. So please come here and fight this war for us now. So that looks like that might play out exactly like that. We are seeing US members of Congress buying bonds in stocks, I mean, in war stocks right now. So they think that a war is coming. But Iran is a massive country.
Yeah.
It would make the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan look very small in
Yeah.
comparison if we actually went to war with them. 80 million people in this country, much bigger country, vast resources, and they have a military alliance with Russia and with China. And I cannot stress enough how important that particular piece of this is. Because if you think it would just be the United States and Iran, you are sadly mistaken.
Right.
China is very upset. Russia is very upset. They've been doing military drills together multiple times a year, every year for years now, expecting that the United States would eventually come for them. And so I am scared, Natalie.
Yeah.
As somebody
Yeah.
who's had family members go over to the Middle East, be
Yeah.
deployed there, it's not a joke. This is a very serious thing. I think we were on the precipice of actually getting involved in another Middle Eastern war. And it's very scary to me about like what might happen next because we're at the mercy of Donald Trump right now.
I know.
And who knows what decision he's going to make next.
Not only are we at the mercy of Donald Trump, but Pete Hegseth.
Oh, God.
Can we just, I mean, there are no adults in the room,
No,
Desmond. There are
no.
no adults in the room. And going back to your point where his first administration, there were still some adults in the room. There aren't any now.
Yeah.
And what concerns me here is I guess I want to understand where the mind of the Trump supporter is on this, because they were all very upset around the idea of getting involved in, entanglements overseas. I mean, even Marjorie Taylor Greene, not on my bingo card for 2025 to agree with her
Nope.
on anything,
Sure
but
isn't.
she has come out and said, "I'm not down with this." I mean, do you
No.
realize
I want
where
to try to
are
pull up
we?
her tweet right now.
Please do, please
Yeah,
do.
keep going.
But what is concerning to me is, and actually, I want to back up. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because you studied this space much more thoroughly than I did when I had first met you. I've since become more involved with this area, but you were in it much more. Do you think we would be here if we had handled what happened in Gaza on October 8th?
7th.
No, they were
The day after.
The day after.
Okay.
Do you think we would be in a different position right now had we not given Israel carte blanche then? Do you think they would feel so emboldened? And I know we're speaking in speculation, but because that is where I keep going, is that all of these things are connected.
Right.
And the cries then have brought us to this point.
You know what? At the end of the day, I want to be very clear about this because a lot of people, I think, either they don't pay attention to this, it's super in detailed, which I don't blame you for. There's a lot to handle here. Or, like you get caught up in propaganda because there's just so much of it. That's pro-Israel. I want to be very clear about this. They do not have the ability to defend themselves without our help.
Right.
They do not. They don't have it. Like they are surrounded by countries that want to destroy them. I mean, Lebanon, Turkey does not like them. Egypt really doesn't like them. Saudi Arabia had to be forced into a pact with them. Iran doesn't like them. Afghanistan, Iraq, obviously, Palestine. They all, at the drop of a hat, if they had the chance, they would probably attack Israel. Israel exists to a degree because the United States gives it protection. And so because of that protection and because it's so ironclad, it also gives them the ability to be expansionists. They can attack whoever they want to. They can do whatever they want to because they know as long as the United States is willing to essentially play their ultimate Iron Dome for them, that they can go out and do whatever they want to. And with that being said, at the drop of a hat, if any American president decided we are going to change this alliance and say that, hey, if you do X, Y, or Z, we are going to withdraw our support from you, they would be forced. They would be absolutely forced to stop doing whatever it is we told them to stop doing because they know that the consequences of not having our support would mean that they wouldn't exist anymore. Yeah. So it is. So when people are talking about, oh, Biden's working tirelessly for a ceasefire, for instance, that was complete bullshit. Because all he had to do was say, I will withdraw my support if you don't stop doing this. And everything would have been done. Yeah. Everything.
Didn't Reagan do that many moons ago?
He did. He absolutely did. Because they were bombing Lebanon in the 80s. Reagan said, if you do not stop this, I am going to withdraw my support from you. And they stopped. Ronald Reagan did that.
I know. I know.
So it's laughable to me. So yes, we have all the power in this situation. If we wanted to end all of Israel's aggressiveness, we have the ability to, like that. That simply.
It's upsetting to me hearing what is happening on top of everything else that is happening, because there is no way to keep the focus in one space at this point. And it is hard to feel motivated to do anything. And it's hard to not feel paralyzed. And I say this in our lives a lot, but it's like we have to fight that feeling because even we can't control what is about to happen with Iran and Israel right now. Meaning you and I, the average citizen, we just can't.
No, I want the United States to not be a part of it. That's the part that I think we're going to try to control. I don't want to normalize the idea that the United States gets involved here.
No, but I'm saying right in this moment, it's like the things that we can control are focusing on how do we try to uproot the fascism that is attempting to take real hold here in our communities because it is attached to the Trump regime. right?
Yeah.
So I think in order to have a ripple effect that eventually perhaps will change the course of our foreign policy down the road, we have to start dealing with the fascism in our backyard right now. And I think
Yeah.
that's a challenge for everyone because I don't think it's easy for people to connect all of these dots, but it's all the same. It's all
Right.
the same
It,
thing,
it,
right?
it, it is all interconnected in some way.
Yeah.
I have the tweet by
Oh,
Marjorie
yes.
Taylor Greene
Yes.
now.
Please share.
Which, okay, let me just say for the record here, I'm not going to make a practice of quoting Marjorie Taylor Greene here
No.
on our show,
This is a
but I
moment.
am fascinated
Yeah.
by the potential like break in the ranks here from one of Trump's top lieutenants in the MAGA cult. I mean, I thought the fortress was impenetrable, okay,
Yeah.
but one of his top people is actually coming out again. Okay,
No.
quote here.
I'm with you.
I don't know anyone that even thinks about Iran. Americans don't want to bomb Iran because the secular government of Israel says that Iran is on the verge of developing a nuclear bomb any day now. We've been told that for the past 20 years. It's the same story. Everyone I know is tired of U.S. intervention and regime change in foreign countries. Everyone I know wants to fix our own problems here at home, not bomb other countries that have nothing to do with our own self-inflicted problems.
Woo!
What?
Woo!
What?
If you would not have told me that was Marjorie Taylor Greene, I would have been like, yes, snaps all around. That is a shocking thing to hear. Shocking.
That is mind-boggling to me.
Yes.
But you know what? The actual like anti-interventionist, like quote unquote, like America First, right? I mean, it does exist to some degree. To how big that degree is, I don't know. But like some of these crazy people, like Candace Owens, she was actually coming out and bucking Trump and this, attempted, war with Iran as well. So like there are some of the hardcore, like staunch, like fully in the cult people that apparently are no longer fully in the cult, at least on this one issue. So I'm just paying attention to see if there's a ripple effect here. If Trump actually has his own base revolts against him, I mean, one, hallelujah. But two, I mean, God, can that just happen in a few more instances? Because like that is really his real source of power here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I will say this too, a broken clock is still right twice a day, right?
You hope so. But we've seen a lot of broken clocks that are just not right ever.
We have, but in this case, this broken clock is right. And I do think we're going to start to see really strange bedfellows. And that's why I was saying earlier, it's going to get really messy and it's going to get a little weird. And what the left has to avoid is the litmus test, right? Because if people are against whatever in this moment and we can find some common ground tonight, cool. We can go back to ripping each other apart tomorrow, but tonight maybe we need to stand together and fight the actual zombies at the gate, right? So just to bring it home, guys, we have a common enemy. And it is fascism. And it's taking many forms in many ways. And I think even people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I never thought I would agree with on anything, ever.
No.
If she wanted to stand in solidarity with us in this issue, we don't have the privilege right now or the space to say no to that. And I think we just are going to have to be very open-minded about how we form forward in this moment until we get out of this danger zone that we're in.
Everything we've ever said about Marjorie Taylor Greene still stands, but that doesn't mean that she's not right about this.
Exactly.
So that's where I stand on this. Like the one of the last things I want to say about this is we have been on this collision course for a long time now.
Yes.
There have been hawks in the Clinton administration, Bush administration, Obama administration, Biden administration, Trump administrations who have wanted to go to war with Iran. They have been talking about this for 30 years now.
Yeah.
Okay. There are also people who want to escalate tensions with Russia. There are people who want to escalate tensions with China over Taiwan. And so these countries aligned themselves particularly because they thought it was inevitable that they would individually face the United States in a war of some sort. And so they came together in a pact, both from a military standpoint and a financial standpoint. So one of the reasons why Russia's been able to keep their economy afloat, even through all the Western sanctions, is because they've been having financial ties with countries like China and Iran and India. They've kept themselves afloat. So this inevitable thing it's not inevitable. This is one of the things that they felt was inevitable, so they decided to protect themselves by coming together. If we go after one of these countries directly, they are going to coalesce and we will see ourselves in a true world war.
Yeah.
And I just cannot state just how dangerous of a moment we are in, because it feels like there are so many people in this government who are foaming at the mouth, thinking about having American tanks roll into Iran, as if it's going to be another Iraq or Afghanistan, as if those weren't complete disasters that killed hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million people, including the civilians there and our own troops that should never have been there in the first place. 20 years of war in the Middle East, over like trillions of dollars like lost that could have been spent here at home, actually building our communities up instead of destroying communities across the world. Are we really going to do that again? So I hope that people just take this as seriously as humanly possible. When people start beating that pro-war propaganda drum, please do everything in your power to push back against it.
Amen to that. And I think we need to remember too that the veterans have been abandoned here in the United States for the most part. They have not been taken care of. They have not been supported with their health or with housing or with job integration or anything. And so it to me is also, it's just an insult to the people that have survived war or having to have experiences that led them back over here, that they then had to deal with homelessness, substance abuse, and PTSD, among just a few things that haven't been addressed. And so the idea of another generation of people succumbing to that, if they survive this, to me, it's too big a price. It's too big a price. We need
way
to
too
figure out something else. Yeah. Not to mention the loss of life in general.
No, it's way too big a price. You have people who, you get recruited into the military as a child. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
They're in your high school. You're 16, you're 17.
Because you're trying to pay for college.
Right. So they're trying to get you in there. You go in there with the absolute ideal that you're doing something noble. Like you're protecting your country from danger. That's what they tell you again and again and again and again. What you don't find out until it's too late is that a lot of times we create our own danger for unnecessary reasons. And that's what's unforgivable here. So I mean, I think that everyone needs to be very vocal about this, because if we are not, and if it gets normalized, it will happen. And that's what I'm most afraid of. I'm afraid of the indifference of the American people and then the inevitability of what comes after that.
Yeah.
So
this was a lot, you guys. I know this was an intense conversation, but we appreciate so many of you joining us tonight and sharing. I was reading the comments and I'm so sorry we didn't get through more of them, but oh my gosh, thank you for all of the engagement and just sharing your thoughts. We try to do this at least once a week. We sometimes end up doing it twice a week. So stay tuned for more conversations together. And Desmond, if people want to learn more about you and your work, where can they follow you?
Yeah, so if you want to follow either of us right now, you can click the top of the screen where our names are scrolling across. You can subscribe to our Substacks from there. You should become a paid subscriber of Natalie's Facts Over Fear, support independent journalism. If you're watching the playback, the links will be in the description for our Instagrams, as well as maybe a TikTok account. You can check that out a little bit. So we will be back with another live. I will be back next week with some more guests. I will be back with Natalie about 2 weeks from now. She's going on vacation next week. I want to say a quick thank you to Rita and Carol, Kathy, Birdie, some of you who have been in the comments quite a bit. Manuel's been in the comments. I'm sorry for not naming everyone right now, but the people who were contributing to the conversation down there, really do appreciate it. Thank you for showing up to our live. We will be back with many more conversations. There's too many things to talk about, so we'll be back with more as time goes on. If you have any suggestions for what you would like to hear in the future, see in the future, you can reach out to me here. You can DM me on Substack, on Instagram, wherever you're on social media. I will try to talk to you, and we can figure out a better way to put together a good show for you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each
All
other.
right. Have a good
Bye,
one.
everybody.